Hey guys, I want to reply to a comment that was posted on the video titled Oil Drum Part 2. The comment reads, I agree that he didn't have the psychological makeup to do this. My biggest question is why on earth would he take the blame? That doesn't resonate well with me. Why would he spend the rest of his life in prison and accept it so willingly? Well, here's my reply. I actually think that Christopher Watts was actually conned right from the start. I think he was groomed by his wife right from day one of their relationship to be her doormat and to make excuses for her behavior. I think she targeted him. I think she saw a paycheck. You know, when he met her, he was making really good money and he had a savings account and he had excellent credit. She quit her job shortly after meeting him. Who do you think was making her house payment? I think she did isolate him from his family. I think his parents were spot on when they said that they felt she was trying to isolate him from their family. And I think she began to isolate him immediately after she met him. I do not believe she had any of those diseases or illnesses that she claimed to have. I think she was conning Christopher Watts from day one. And I think she used those diseases to try to control him. Before the wedding, she conned him into moving to Colorado, away from his family and friends. Far away from his family and friends, telling him that her doctor told her that she needed to move to Colorado for her health challenges. And he believed her. He left a high-paying job behind, the job of his dreams. He left it behind because he bought into, I think it's fair to call it, her scam. He bought the house in Colorado without her help. He accepted full financial responsibility for that mortgage. And just 1 month later, he put her name on the deed. Mission accomplished. 4 months after they were married. Oh, by the way, the wedding, good job. Good job. Way to go. Fire his sister from the bridal party. Accuse his mother and sister of cross-contaminating the food. That's a crime, people. That's a crime. She accused her future mother-in-law and sister-in-law of committing a very serious crime against her. And she also accused her sister-in-law of trying to sabotage the guest list. People who are whining that they didn't even go to the wedding, are you kidding me? Good for them. Good for them for not going to the wedding. But sadly, I think that was her plan all along. Then 4 months after they were married, the person who claimed she had fertility issues got pregnant. And I think that that is when Christopher Watts began to see the truth. I think as soon as little Bella was born, Christopher Watts struggled to try to protect his daughter from what he must have known was danger. I think by the time he found out that his wife, the one who had convinced him that she was so good with money, I think by the time that he found out that she wasn't even making those house payments for 3 months straight, I think that marriage was already long over. But when that happened and they almost lost their house and he had to take 10 grand out of his retirement account in order to save their home, I think it was right then and there that he was able to tell her that their marriage was through. And I think that's why she told him shortly thereafter that she was pregnant. I think the reason she went to North Carolina was because, in my opinion, she was not able to take care of the children. And I think the reason that Christopher Watts didn't file for divorce that summer was because, in my opinion, he was concerned that if he wasn't right there in the home to take care of the children, that in a divorce he was risking his children's safety if they would be alone with his wife. I also think that the spending continued and that his actual ability to even hire a lawyer didn't exist. Remember, she controlled the finances. I don't even think he knew what they had or what they didn't have when it came to money. And the biggest secret of all, I think, that she was keeping from him was that she wasn't making any money with her quote-unquote career. I think he was groomed from day one to believe that she was some sort of a superstar. But I think as soon as Bella was born, even before Bella was born, who are we kidding? I think he found out the truth. And I think that from the day that Bella was born, he was trapped in a marriage that he did not want to be in. But I don't think he saw any way out. So I think he just kept going along to get along, focused only on being there for his kids. I believe that he wrote that letter 1 week before the children were murdered. I believe he was afraid of his wife, and I believe he was afraid that he and his daughters were not safe. Think about this. Christopher Watts spoke every day on the phone with his father-in-law, every single day. We're told that it was so his father-in-law could check and see how the girls were doing. Could it be that the father-in-law was checking to see how his daughter was doing that day? And could it be that Christopher Watts was receiving encouragement to stay? He was isolated from his support network. His friends and family were all back east. He was making less money at a job that was not the job of his dreams, the job that he had worked so hard for, that he had before his wife convinced him that her doctor said she had to move to Colorado. He was isolated, and he was exhausted too. And when you're isolated and exhausted, it's easy to be groomed. It's easy to be encouraged to stay. It's easy to look at your spouse who you have learned has some serious issues going on and to try to cover for her. It's easy to hold your baby in your arms and to tell yourself you will do everything you can to keep your baby safe, even if that means staying with your spouse. He would have had no way of knowing whether or not he would have actually gained custody of the children in a divorce. I think he would have, but he wouldn't have had any way of knowing that for sure. Can you imagine the fear he must have felt of losing a custody battle? And think about this. He was looking for an apartment for himself and his 2 daughters. He was not looking for an apartment for 3 children, was he? Let that sink in. Do you want to know why I think this case is so important for us to discuss? I'll tell you why. Because men like Christopher Watts deserve to have supports in place when they need to escape the marriage safely with their children. Men like Christopher Watts deserve to have counseling centers and family shelters and whatever other services are out there that we happily provide for women and children, right? But we do not provide them for men. Why? I think that the next day, when Christopher Watts' wife was expected to show up at the daycare center, she would have also been expected to pay them, and she didn't have the money. I think all the people talking about this case who are trying to dramatize it by saying, oh, the girlfriend this and the girlfriend that. Oh, bullshit. This case was about money. This case was about a woman who was living a lie. This case was about a woman who was buying all sorts of product in order to appear as if she was successful. This case is about a woman who actually treated her husband and children like crap. There, I said it. Look at the videos. Watch the videos. My gosh, it's all right there. If she was a man, women on social media would be screaming that she was an abuser. But she's a woman, so guess what? Oh, she's a strong, assertive woman. That isn't strength. That is not strength to ridicule your husband and your children. That is not strength to ignore your child when she tells you she's cold. That is not strength to spray your child in the face over and over again with water and to laugh about it and to say, this is why we had kids. That is not strength. To have to go outside because your kids are giggling too loud for you to be able to pull off another shit video. It isn't strength to pretend that you earned a car when it's actually a leased vehicle in your husband's name. It is not strength to plan vacation after vacation after vacation that you cannot afford. It is not strength to sit on your ass all day while your kids are in daycare and your husband's working out in the hot sun. And then to spend the family money to blow the family budget on your MLMs that you want to belong to. That isn't strength. Strength would be to go get a job. Strength would be to pay your bills instead of coming up with cockamamie excuses that, oh, gee, you must have been mailing the HOA dues to the wrong address for the last year. Strength is going to that job day after day and working and earning a paycheck so that you can help take care of your family's needs. That's strength. Strength is not pretending that you're successful. Strength is not buying a house that you cannot afford. Strength is not shipping your kids off to daycare while you go get your nails done and do lunch with your MLM friends. And I use that term loosely. Strength is not spending money that you don't have. Strength is not pretending that you're some kind of a cook when your forte is how to boil an egg. Oh, wait, no, it's not how to boil an egg, it's how to peel an egg. That isn't strength. Strength is not lying because you're too weak to admit that you really haven't achieved anything at all in your life. Because when you're so busy lying about your accomplishments, then you don't have any time to actually accomplish anything. Strength is not spying on your husband's spending at a restaurant and looking up the prices of salmon. Oh my gosh. She and one of her friends were actually investigating the price of salmon. Maybe they should have been investigating how to pay those HOA dues. Maybe they should have been looking up the correct address for the HOA. Maybe they should have been investigating the job postings in the area so that she could have gotten a job and actually helped save their house since they were screwed with the house payment, right? Maybe she should have been investigating a parenting class. You know, she could have learned how to stop calling her children names, or how to stop telling her daughter to be nice when her daughter was being nice. Or maybe she could have learned how it really isn't nice at all to be spraying your daughter right in the face and laughing at her, or to make her cry while you laugh at her. That would have been strength. Maybe strength would have been to have called for a counselor to work on her issues. Maybe strength would have been to say, you know what, Chris, I'm fucked up and I need help. I think that Christopher Watt's wife was sick, but I don't think she had any physical illnesses at all. I think she was sick in the head, and I think that she was hurting Bella and Cece. I think she was harming those girls. And I think that her husband was trying his best to try to protect them from her. So, why on earth would he take the blame? Why would he spend the rest of his life in prison and accept it so willingly? I think that Christopher Watts tried his best for 8 years straight to cover for his wife. I think he put it on his own shoulders that it was up to him to keep his babies safe and to also protect his wife from herself, in my opinion. And I think that when he learned that his family was dead, that he blamed himself completely for not having protected any of them. That's just my opinion. Feel free to discuss your opinion in the comment section below. I want to say it again. I've said it a million times, but I want to say it again. All opinions are welcome here on this channel. We discuss a lot of different true crime cases here, and your opinions on any of the cases we're discussing are welcome. However, you're not welcome to come here using yet another fake profile to post your bullshit comments. So if that's all you're here for, is to try to harass us, you do not belong here at all.